Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder presents Central Texas Events.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Events, and it is a joy to have Eric Shepard, the Executive Director of the Waco Civic Theater. It's been a little while.
Oh, it has. It has.
In fact, the last location we taped a podcast, I want to say, was on Franklin.
It was. I think I was one of your first guests.
One of the first guests,
so thank you for having me back.
Well, I'm sorry it has taken this long, but I've been watching from afar all the stuff that the Civic Theater has just got something all the time, and it's all you. I mean,
I'm along for the ride.
You say that, but my goodness, what a season this year!
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Yes,
it is really, really a good season, and so we're coming up to fall and Christmas time,
right?
And so let's talk.
We just closed Oklahoma, so
huge.
Yeah, we sold every ticket and then some. Found extra chairs for people, so that went really well. It had been about 10 years since we'd done the show, and it felt like a good time to bring it back. Mm-hmm. And I know how people in Waco love Oklahoma, and it seemed
of
like...
Of course we do.
Yes, of course. And I grew up in Austin, and we also love Oklahoma, so you kind of forget that during the show. And so we are often running on several other shows at the same time, right? We are in rehearsal for Cabaret with Silent House. Mm-hmm. We are in rehearsal for our thriller, The Girl on the Train, based on the book and the movie. Yeah. And then we have Charlie Brown Christmas at the beginning of December. And then the middle of December, right up until Christmas Eve, we're doing White Christmas.
Wow. That's a big show.
Oh, it's huge.
Have you ever done that?
We have never done White Christmas that I know of. It was only available... Sisters,
gosh.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, people,
and the snow.
It's like A Christmas Story. You watch it over and over and over.
Yes.
So you know every song, every...
It used to be kind of a tradition. I don't watch as much TV as I used to, but I used to, try to see It's a Wonderful Life, try to see White Christmas every Christmas time. Yeah. And a few of those Christmas specials, the claymation ones. But yeah, White Christmas was kind of a tradition in our family. When we listened to the music, when we were planning the show, we went, oh, this is so good. And then I got to hear a couple of rehearsals, and it's going to be great. It's going to be so good.
Well, already selling tickets for it.
Yes, we are.
So how many performances will you do?
Currently we're scheduled for 10.
That's
but
good.
We're seeing if we can add to add more. Yeah. And we're talking, literally on Christmas Eve would be the next time we can do a show. I don't know if people want to come then or backdate it to a Wednesday. And my director, my choreographer, I don't know if we can learn the show in one less day. So we may end up doing, like a 3-show day instead of a 2-show day to try to pack in all those performances. But we'll see.
Eat your Wheaties.
Yeah, that's right.
Cast members.
Yeah. One of the things we've started doing is feeding our cast members on those Saturday matinees because it just seems like the right thing to do because they just don't have much time on those turnarounds. In Oklahoma, they had 45 minutes between the end of the first show and having to be back on stage for mic check. So we fed them some Barris pasta.
Carbo load.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Well, fabulous season. So I was talking with Allison here at Rogue Media, about how does I get confused. When does the season start and end? So is White Christmas ending your season for this year?
It's midway. It's the midway point. Right. Our fiscal year and our season start in June.
Okay.
And so summer's a big time for us. We do 3 children's shows and 1 main stage show that perform during the summer, but we're also rehearsing. Like in Oklahoma, we auditioned that in August. So while the summer's still going, we're working on our fall shows. So it runs June 1st through May 31st. So the end of the season was Margaritaville this most recent year.
Yeah, how poignant that.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
And the year before, it was the music band, that show in May.
Right.
And so coming up with this season, we'll end it with The Sound of Music. And that's generally how we try to do it, is a big musical at the beginning and the end. So this
Right.
year we started with Oliver, and we'll end with The Sound of Music. It's a year round, so it kind of doesn't matter when the season starts and stops. We're just always doing a show.
Yeah.
We counted it up. It's 24 shows this year when you
I do
add
not
everything.
know how you do that.
My staff asked the same question.
How are we doing?
We're thinking
But it
of,
happens.
Yeah, we're
I mean-
thinking maybe we needed to cut back just a little bit to keep our sanity. But we love theater so much.
When I got to do Mamma Mia, I considered myself an embedded reporter. You know,
Yes.
I just could not understand how in 5 weeks from audition to opening night, how that can happen, but it did, and it was, and lifelong friendships
Yes.
happen out of those kinds of situations.
We just closed Oklahoma, and
Yeah.
there were happy tears at the end of that show.
Yeah.
Part of it's a little bit of relief; it's over because it is hard. It's a grind.
yeah.
That 5 weeks and 2 shows a day on the 2 Saturdays,
Yeah.
and part of it is you're not going to be in that same group of people in that same way. It's a special experience.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
That's what makes live theater so much fun.
Yes. Yeah.
And you got the bug when you were pretty young, right?
I was a ghost in my 3rd grade Halloween play.
There you.
And I remember, I'm the ghost. That means I wear a sheet so no one will see my face. And that's when my mom knew I was a theater person.
Yes.
Because I had the most lines, and still, I needed to be seen,
Holes. there.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Well, so you're looking ahead. I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
What are we looking ahead to next year?
Well, a formula that really works for us is a musical that has lots of kids and adults in
Yeah.
it. When we did The Wizard of Oz, we had 99 cast members because we had that big old stage at the old Waco High stage,
Correct.
which sadly
Yeah.
is now dust. But
I know.
it'll be replaced someday soon.
Yeah.
2025 maybe. And we miss being able to perform
And that was
there.
a great collaboration.
Oh, it
There
was
a lot
with,
of great
with Waco
shows
Iced Tea,
were
absolutely.
put on there. Yeah.
Another big success for us was when we did Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
and there you've got Belle's dad, who's an older guy, and then you got little townspeople, little people, and then everyone in between.
Yeah.
That's kind of the formula that works for us. So we're
It's
looking
a
at shows like
Community civic theater. Yeah.
yes. So when you think about shows that have a good kid component into it and adults, one of the things that we're considering is Bye Bye Birdie. It's a classic.
yeah,
It's got
yeah.
lots of teen actors, and we have tons of teens
There's
in our youth
lots
program.
of great young talent. Yeah.
And you've got adults, because who are the kids going to rebel against if you don't have adults there on stage? Another show that we're looking at is Hello Dolly, which is a good family
wow,
show.
yeah.
My Fair Lady is another show we're looking at for next year,
Mm-hmm.
and so that show helps us anchor a season. So
Sure.
you would have
Well, it generates a lot of buzz and a lot
Yes,
of
it
interest.
does.
Like, oh man, they're doing, The Sound of Music in this case.
And it shows up in what people at the box office, right? So we're doing Oklahoma, and sales for White Christmas spiked during the performances or just after the performances of Oklahoma,
Yeah.
because people were sitting there, they're having a good time, and they thought, we should go to see another one of these.
Coming back. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
And that's what you want to hear.
exactly.
Yeah, a lot of exciting things though happening on the performing arts fronts. A lot of more buzz about a new performing arts.
I know.
venue.
That is exciting.
What will that mean for you guys?
Well, in practical terms, it'll mean that one show a year, or one of those big shows like Beauty and the Beast or The Wizard of Oz, can go to that new downtown facility, and
Yeah.
it'll have all the bells and whistles, and it'll be a place that is specifically set up for that. You'll be able to draw the downtown audiences, be they residents or Magnolia visitors, or folks who are in town, because it's a good place to be halfway between wherever and wherever, right? So I also think that we already draw some interesting folks from out of town when we do a show. We had people drive in from out of town significant miles in past shows. Les Mis brought people from all around Texas to be in that show. We had a guy drive down from Dallas every single day to be in Oklahoma because Rodgers and Hammerstein singing in that show, that was a bucket list thing for him.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah.
What role?
He was Judd.
Oh gosh, yeah.
What a voice that
What
guy
an
has.
an important role.
Right, and Jake said, I just want to be one of these guys, and we heard him sing and said, oh yeah, you bet. So I think that will help us in a way in that it'll help all of the arts scene, but the theater scene in particular, I think, in a great facility, higher visibility shows because it's in this big, brand spanking new auditorium.
And it's going to be stellar. It's
yes. I've seen some of the renderings too.
Yeah,
it's just beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking building. Of course, those are just concepts at this point, renderings. But man, if they could do anything like that,
raise the money. But
man, that would be spectacular.
That'd be amazing.
It'll be one of the most noteworthy buildings in town the day it opens. Right? You've got the Alico building in which we're sitting. That's iconic, and of course the courthouse. And McLean Stadium, in part because of its visibility right there on the river and its size, but that downtown performing arts center, looking out over the Brazos and and at branding on the Brazos, I mean, that's a great site. It's I think that it says to the outside world, Waco is important. You need to take notice. There's really great stuff going here, and our citizens are behind this. And I can tell you, it really works. It really works for me. When I was in grad school at Baylor, I went down to Killeen to direct a show. I'd been asked to do it. I'm like, Killeen, sure, whatever, fine. I pull into the parking lot of their facility, and this is 1999. I'm dating myself here, but I pull into that facility, and I went, oh my goodness. These people take their theater seriously. Yeah. This is a beautiful building. It was 10 years old at the time, and it looked the same as it did the day it opened. They'd really done a great job of taking care of it. And that said to me and to the people that came down from Baylor, who I was classmates with to do that same show, hey, this is a cool place. Yeah. I like going to Killeen to do theater. And I think that will be true of people who come and see our facility. They'll say, hey, Waco is a happening cultural place. So I'm excited about what it means, not just, hey, we get to be in the building, but that's a real added benefit because it's being built so that lots of different groups and people and activities can happen there.
What an exciting time to be involved in the arts.
Oh, I know. It really is. Yeah. Yeah, we've gone to downtown is brain dead to this is really cool.
Sam Jack McGlasson.
Bless his heart.
Got arrested. Yeah, and a lot of people say, yeah, he's right. But man, things have really changed. As I sit here and look out at McLean Stadium and looking at all the places that you're mentioning, sprinkled all around, and it's an exciting time to be involved in the arts, whether it's symphonic music or and of course I've noticed. It seems like more and more Baylor performers are getting involved with your shows and things.
A couple of reasons for that. One is they've changed their policy a little bit to allow their students to experience more of Waco cultural life. Another is that we have a number of Baylor theater professors who work in our building from time to time. They direct or they choreograph or they're consultants for us for stage combat or various other aspects of theater. And that helps the students who are there to have an in, because with a population turning over, you might have a student who finds time once in their 4 years to really, they've got a semester or a few months off to do a show, but that's one out of the 140 theater majors, and they graduate, but the faculty allows us more of a permanent relationship, with the theater department, and so I'm grateful for their continued participation. And when you saw Oklahoma, you saw 6 or 8 cast members, and I sound like an old person, but young people bring such life to the theater. They bring such enthusiasm and they bring energy and excitement and fun. And so we knew that every single rehearsal and every single performance, there was going to be this great energy and excitement that young people have. And of course, we also had, probably 10 people who had never done a show with us before, but were attracted.
That's great.
Yes.
See, I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. They were attracted by the show. They always wanted to do Oklahoma.
Always wanted to do Oklahoma.
We had this precious woman. She's, I think, 77, something like that. that she moved here because of Magnolia.
Oh,
She and her
oh, yeah,
husband
yeah.
had not done theater since high school. So we're going back a few decades,
That's right. But she remembered.
She remembered, and so she auditioned for the show, and she came in a cowboy hat and a neckerchief and a denim skirt. She said, "Oh, now I feel kind of nerdy. I overdressed for the audition because everybody else is in like jeans and
Yeah,
t-shirts, right?"
right.
And I said, "Oh no, oh no,
This is perfect.
This is perfect." And so she was delightful, and she had to get permission from her church choir director to miss a few Wednesday rehearsals, and so she was a new person to us too.
Oh, that's great.
So we had 19-year-olds and we had 77-year-olds involved in the show. So
And that's what community theater is all about.
Oh, absolutely.
And what makes it so much fun for the people involved as well as those coming to see these shows.
well, yeah, I mean, when you see the show, that energy escapes the stage into the
Yeah.
audience, right? The people like each other, enjoy being around each other. That enthusiasm, that love of not just the art form, but the people they're doing the show with.
Yeah.
It is communicated. Maybe non-verbally, but it's communicated, and the audience goes, "Wow, this is a special experience." Every production is a little bit different, but I think what we're doing there at the theater is we're creating something like a family atmosphere wherein people feel comfortable and they want to be a part of whatever it is that's going on. One of the new people to us is a recent Baylor Law graduate who settled here with his wife and 3 children. And he said, "Man, this is great. I haven't done a show in many years, but the atmosphere you've created here is so welcoming to outsiders." He's actually done quite a bit of theater, and he said, "I don't remember feeling this welcome whenever I moved to a new town." Because some theaters can be kind of cliquey, right? Or, the town is, "You're not from around here, are you?"
That's right.
Yeah. But I think Waco
No.
and Waco Civic Theater are both really welcoming to people. And I love that about being here.
Yeah, the important aspect of what you do. Yeah, so, you mentioned family atmosphere. It's very clear on Cabaret that it is 18 plus.
Yes, that's
I
right.
thought I might mention that.
Yes.
Now, do you have in it like a mini season left of ticket sales, or do people just buying per show, or how is that working on sales?
Both. I mean, we
Okay.
announce our season tickets in April for the upcoming season, that starts in June. And so we also have a sort of a mini package that we put out in December. But tickets are always, of course, available over the counter. And we do a thing where as soon as we announce the season, the whole season's available. So if you want, the only show you want to see is Sound of Music, you can buy those tickets now and get your seats for May if you like. And there is a great deal of variety. One of the things you mentioned was that Cabaret is an 18-plus show. It absolutely is for people who are able to vote, right?
Okay.
Charlie Brown Christmas is the whole family, right?
Yes, sure.
And I would say Oklahoma was kind of a family show, but some of the material in it,
There were
it's
some dark aspects.
right.
Of
Yeah,
all that,
Judd
yeah.
is not a nice guy.
No, he wasn't.
So it's not necessarily for kids. There's
Yeah.
no language in it, but some of the
Right.
thematic material's a little adult. Girl on the Train is about a domestic violence case and a woman who is in the throes of alcoholism and depression. Tries to solve a murder case because she knows the victim. And so, I mean, it is, I won't spoil the ending, but the case is solved, right? But that's not really kid material. There's not that much language in it, but it also gives adults, who want to go out to have an adult evening a chance to do so. So you can get dinner, a glass of wine, go to the theater, see something really interesting, and then go home and you can tell your kids, well, this is a good show for you to sit out. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure you can always use volunteers.
Absolutely. It's the lifeblood of the theater. We need volunteers to paint and saw and hammer and nail
Have
and
fun, yeah.
sew and sell popcorn, and guide people to their seats, vacuum the carpets. I don't know. Help, help people.
Things that need to be done.
Help people to their seats. Stand there
Yeah.
at the door and make sure
That's
that
pretty
folks who are
good.
in walkers and chairs have a helping hand there at the door. There's just so many things to do. If you're an electrician or a plumber, we got work for you. If you're a carpenter, we got things that you can do.
Yeah.
So pretty much every aspect of life or every trade, there's a need for it at the theater.
Yeah. Well, it is exciting to see what all has happened with Waco Civic Theater, and Eric, your involvement with it. I mean, you have just been a driving force and just such a great leader for this effort, and all the best to you. And
Thank
it's
you.
going to be great. So how can folks What is your website? How do they?
WacoCivicTheater.org.
Okay.
Or you can go to WacoCivicTheater.com. Either one works.
Yeah. And you got Facebook?
We've got Facebook. We've got Instagram.
Yeah.
We don't really pay that much attention to Twitter, but we do have a Twitter feed, you know.
So you can be
or
reached.
X, sorry. It's X
Yeah,
now.
it's
Yes.
X now, yeah.
We can be reached. You can come by the theater. It's at 1517 Lake Air. We're right next to the county fair and right next to Alliance Bank. And so it's a good location, I think, for people to be able to find us, you know, right there off Bosque, which is going to get a lot of traffic the next couple of weeks, I think.
It's going to be a little busy, but that's okay. And you're always busy there at
Yes,
the
we
Civic
are.
Theater. And so all I can say is break a leg.
Thanks. Thanks.
All
We
right,
aim to be
Eric.
busy. Thank you.
All right, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll see you again on Central Texas Events. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.